Hello, welcome to my channel and thanks for tuning into this video. Today I'm going to be reviewing the new Natasha Denona Zendo palette. So I'm going to be doing a few looks on my eyes to show you and reviewing the palette, just sharing my thoughts on it. And I also am going to throw in a few comparisons with some other shades from other Natasha Denona palettes. So if you'd like to see all of that, just keep on watching. I wanted to start with focusing on these greens, and I really love these colors. These two greens here are both cream to powder, and I love that formula in Natasha Denona. And I was really on the fence about getting this palette, and when I saw and then subsequently later remembered that there are a lot of cream to powders in this palette, that's what ultimately made me decide to buy it. I'm gonna actually start out with Balance right here on my classic crease and put that right up in the crease just as a little base transition color. Okay, so now that I've got that on, it's time to start in with the green. So I'm gonna go in with this one, which is Mantra. You can probably see the dips in the pan. I'm going to show you a look that I did yesterday, and it included that shade. So I'm going to take my mini booster into Mantra and just focus that on the outer corner and blend up and out. All right, so there are those two shades, and then I just want to do a tiny bit of this Zeal shade right here, just for a touch more depth. I kind of want to see how it plays with these other shadows. I'm taking a mini booster again into that one. I'm just being more precise with the placement of that, really keeping it right to the outer corner. Now I'm going to take this little flat brush, this is the Rephr P21, and I'm going into Breath and putting it all over my lid. These colors to me, especially the greens, are really so zen. I think the palette is really aptly named, and I'm so happy with these greens because I was a little concerned they were going to lean more toward the blue side, and I love blues, like I love the color blue, and I do use blue eyeshadow from time to time because I just can't help it. I think blue and turquoises are so pretty, but I don't particularly like the way that they look on me. But these ones in this palette lean more toward the green side than the blue side. And I think that greens look a lot better on me and are just a lot easier for me to wear than blues. So I'm super happy with these. And I think they're just beautiful and calm colors. I'm gonna just take the mini booster again and go into Breath really lightly and just make sure that transition between the light and the dark is blended nicely. All right, now for the lower lash line, I think I'm going to grab this Calm shade first and see what that looks like. I'm taking that on the flat definer. And now that I've got Calm on there, I'm going to take a little bit of Luster, which is this metallic gold type of color. Same brush, and just blend out the bottom edge with that just to soften it a bit. And then I'm gonna go into Balance, which was the same one that I used up above. Put that more toward the outer edge of the lower lash line. Okay, I think that looks really nice. Now on the inner corner, I want to use this Relief shade. It's kind of like a bright peach color. So I'm just gonna throw that into the inner corner. And I just want to soften that corner up a bit, so I'm going into Tranquil. And then I'm going to take this little angled brush and I'm gonna go into, I think I'll mix Mantra and Zeal together here. Now it's time for mascara, so I'm gonna do that and then I'll be right back. All right, so here's that look completed. It's mostly matte. I just love the color of that breath shade on the lid. The cream to powder formula, I think, while it is matte, it has a little bit of a shine to it. It's a unique finish, I think, among all the shadows that I have, and I really love it. It's really fun to work with too. It kind of feels like painting almost when you're putting it down heavy on the lid like that. And then when you're blending it out with a fluffier brush, it just sort of diffuses in a really creamy, interesting way that's different from how powder mattes diffuse. So obviously this is a pretty intense look, but I think it still has that sort of air of zen or tranquility to it because of the tones. They're so calming and kind of earthy tones. Okay, I think I got most of that eyeshadow off. There might still be a little bit of green on that one, but I think we'll be able to cover it up fine. So for this one, I wanted to try and do a little bit of a softer look. It is hard with Natasha Denona to get soft looks, I find, but I'm gonna try it by using mostly metallic shades for this one. And I think for this one, I'm just going to film it and speed it up so you can see what I'm using and put some music behind it. So let's get started with this next look. here is what this look looks like. This is definitely the softest one, I think. So I just finished it off with some mascara. I did a little bit of brown on my tight line, and then I took this little Charlotte Tilbury, it's the nude eye kohl, and did that on my lower waterline just to kind of open things up and clean it up a little bit because there was a lot of makeup remnants. That's the last look, and I'm just gonna go right into my thoughts on this palette. I'm kind of in love with it. I wasn't all that excited about it when I first saw it online, and as I said, I went back and forth on it, but ultimately decided to get it, and I'm so happy I did. Right now, I'm thinking that this is my favorite of the midi size Natasha Denona palettes, at least in terms of the ones with color in them. I do love the Glam palette too, but this one, I don't know how to say it other than it speaks to my heart and my soul. I just really love this. I love the colors in it, and especially this one right here. I just think this is the most beautiful color, and I think it goes so well with this one here, Mantra, because these two are really greens rather than turquoises or blue greens, and the Mantra shade is that beautiful sort of foresty green that just plays so well with the lighter color. The two metallics here, these definitely are more blue, but I think because they're metallic, they're just a little bit easier for me to pull off. They have a little bit of light reflection going on, and they're different texture, of course, from matte, so they're not quite as heavy. Then the rest of the colors, I think, just play so well with these ones and with each other. And the metallics are beautiful. This one right here, which is called Yama, is really stunning. It's a beautiful duochrome. It's what I have on the center of my eyelid right now. And I just think every single shadow works so well, and they work so well together. I just really love this palette, and I would highly recommend it. If you're remotely interested in the colors and how these colors look, it's even so much better in person and on the eyes than it looks in photos and on video. I don't want to do a ton of comparisons, but I do want to show you a few comparisons. I'm going to start with the gold palette because it has one of those teal cream to powder formulas in it. I just want to compare it to the Mantra shade and show you that the Mantra is really much more of a true green. That's Mantra from the Zendo palette, and that's Python from the gold palette. So you can see that the Python shade is much more of a blue. And then I just wanted to compare the Breath shade, which is my favorite shade by far in the Zendo palette. Wanted to compare that to this Androdite shade in the Trio Chrome palette. The Androdite shade is a typical powder formula. It's not cream to powder. So they look quite similar when swatched, but the Breath shade just has a little bit more depth to it and a touch more of a true green, whereas Androdite has a little bit more of a yellowy and a lighter color to it. I think instead of doing swatches to compare the bronze palette, I'm just going to show you the two palettes next to each other so you can see that the bronze palette actually is a lot more yellowy and almost sort of rusty reds, whereas you're getting more corally and peachy type colors in the Zendo palette. And then actually I just wanted to compare this Yama shade with the shade in the Chantecaille Butterfly Quartet, the duochrome in there, because I think or the triple chrome or whatever they were calling it, because I think those are sort of similar. So that's the Chantecaille, even though they don't look similar in the pan. And that's the one from the Zendo palette. That's the Yama shade. So they actually look different when swatched, but they have the same colors going on, but I think in the Chantecaille the emphasis is more on that bright green, whereas the bright green shift is a little bit more subtle in the Natasha Denona shade. So I think that's about it for this video. I hope it was enjoyable for you. As I said, I really do love this palette and recommend it if you're interested in these colors. Let me know if you have any questions or comments below. I'd love to see those. And if you'd like to see more from me and you haven't subscribed to my channel already, I would really love for you to do so. Thanks so much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.